Now, we wanted to give you a very precise look at the way that this data can be used to give you not only at things in aggregate, but also very rich views on individual behaviors and how those can be potentially applied for larger insight efforts. So we're going to take you now from Madison Avenue out across the country to Colorado, where we're following one specific respondent as she goes about her life out in the suburbs of Denver. And interestingly, as soon as she's downloaded the application and the phone one evening, we see her immediately starting to use the phone, browsing the web, using it for phone calls, and we can start to take a look at very curious searches that on one hand she's looking on websites like healthboards.com. We also see her asking the curious question, what makes underwear smell? I'm not sure we want to know the answer to that, but we can see that she's being exposed to ads around these searches at the same time. We see that eventually she gets an early night's sleep, going to bed around 10:30 at night. She's up again early the next morning, about 5:30. We see she's awake. She's starting to look at her phone, looking at messages, and by 7:30, she's on her way to work, where she's not only checking her text messages as she's on the road, and eventually when she gets to her office, she's then busy using the phone in all the way that we tend to use the phones while we're at the office, putting things in our calendars, browsing for information, doing searches, seeing ads, making notes in the diary function of the phone, checking messages, searching for restaurant information, making phone calls, receiving them, all those typical things. We can see that as the person moves through their day, as she goes to visit other offices, again, in this case, visiting a little health clinic, you can see that as someone's spending time, she's busy doing things like checking the news on MSN, sending some SMSs, receiving some, making a call, getting some, doing a little bit of browsing the web. And then on to the next stop is to go and do an errand at the post office. And we figure that she must be in line at the post office. One, she makes use of the note function. She'd made for herself earlier. Perhaps she'd written down the address or something of the package that she was leaving. But we also see that she's here searching for restaurants, looking for where it is that she's going to eat, perhaps that evening. Person then heads on home. Once again, on way we see the person checking messages en route back. So this bad habit continuing through and then eventually ending up home for the evening, where again, phone gets picked up more for casual uses, searching the web, searching on Google, Yahoo, looking at content, etc. That evening, we see that this respondent does detailed searches looking for things, including trying to find a waffle maker, a Calphalon waffle maker, is looking in different stores and searching across the web. And we then see as they're off driving the next morning on their way for doing some errands, looking for a search, trying to find Sears, stopping for an errand, getting on the road, and then heading off ultimately to JCPenney's, to a mall, where perhaps this is indeed where she is, deciding to buy this waffle maker, doing some errands at JCPenney's, visiting some other shops in the mall, stopping back by the bank. And just as an example of where we see other functionality, we see that the calculator gets activated, clearly doing the math to make sure that the deposits are made properly, and then heads on home. In the evening, again, we see the respondent searching on their mobile phones for various restaurants. Again, they're trying to decide what they want to eat that night, from the Egg and I restaurant or other restaurants like that, including getting served ads that are restaurant related. Meanwhile, searching on other health related issues, including Leber's congenital amaurosis. We see the individual browsing further, seeing coupons being delivered to their phone from grocerycouponguide.com, and also seeing them search for Walmart. In fact, they end up making a trip to Walmart 2 days later. So the relationship between doing searches, visiting, returning home, the relationship between searching on the mobile and actual behavior then is clear. You can start to see these complex relationships and the potential of analyzing them. Very powerful indeed.